Every destination has its bucket list of sights, and Northern Ireland is no exception. But it also has plenty of things to see and do that are further off the beaten trail, those secret spots that only the locals know about. I've decided to head out to the Emerald Isle completely blind, with the hope that the people who call Ireland home can help me plan my journey. First stop is breakfast. I'm meeting up with local social media influencer Fiona McCartan, who recommends general merchants in the outer ring of Belfast for a great start to the day.
Hey,
I'm Fiona, nice to meet
you.
This is one of your favourite spots for a coffee?
Yeah, absolutely. For brunch, for a hangover cure, this is the place we go. It's really good for gluten-free and veggies and vegans as well, all the fussy eaters.
Yeah. So I obviously found out about this place through your Instagram feed.
So my social media is gluten-free fee, and it started whenever I was diagnosed with celiac disease, which means I just can't have wheat or gluten. As I started to share the recipes and share places that I like to eat and that kind of thing, it just grew and became quite popular.
So how do you think that social media is changing the way that people travel?
If I see somebody traveling on their Instagram or whatever and I like it, it will definitely influence where I travel to next.
So I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. Are there many good filming locations nearby?
Yeah, so if you head north to the north coast, there are loads of options. Obviously the dark hedges everybody knows about is very popular, and there's a gorgeous little harbour called Ballantoy Harbour, and it's just completely picturesque, surrounded by big beautiful hills and very aggressive coastline. It's really nice and good to see.
I'm heading to Fiona's recommendation, where I will meet Robbie, a Game of Thrones tour guide and extra. So can you tell me, what are we actually looking at right here, and when was it used in the Game of Thrones filming?
This here is the harbour in the Erne Islands, and basically is in season 2 whenever Theon arrives back. So this is his boat right back here, and that is all CGI, not actually here, but he arrives in a little tiny rowboat over to the steps. These steps are marked by those 2 towers over there. He climbs up the steps, walks along the harbour wall. Now all they had to do is dress it up differently. Like they have all the baskets and barrels and fishing nets and things all strewn about the place, just to make it look like a busy harbour, okay? And the only thing they had to take away is those lights. Take away the CGI and put in these braziers instead.
So what is it about the Northern Irish coastline that you think appeals to filming location scouts?
You have loads of different landscapes here. There's beaches around that corner, and around the next corner there's even more beaches, and there's cliff sides and all sorts of different things right down here. Never mind all the rest in Northern Ireland. So there's so varied. All year round we have tourists come over here to do all these location tours.
I wouldn't mind warming up a bit. Is there anywhere nearby to get a dram of whiskey?
Oh yes, definitely. Nearby here there's a large distillery, and it's called Bushmills Distillery. Bushmills whiskey is famous all over the world, and it's made right here.
So for my next destination, I'm going to visit Helen, the master distiller at Bushmills.
You're very welcome to the old Bushmills distillery, and we are actually the world's oldest licensed distillery. The 1608 relates to the year that we actually received our license to distill for the area. So Bushmills has been here for over 400 years.
So you are the master blender here. What exactly does that mean?
I'm lucky enough to hold all the recipes for all the brands that we do at Bushmills. I'm also responsible for all the new product development here.
What, if anything, is the difference between Scottish and Irish whiskey?
The majority of Scotch is double distilled. At Bushmills we actually triple distill, so it produces a cleaner, lighter spirit that very fruity in flavour.
So yeah, can we dive in? I'm
I'm
ready for a taster now.
Here we are. What we're going to have is our 10-year-old in a bourbon cask. If we take a smell, what you'll get are that lovely vanilla and honey tones coming through from the bourbon cask.
It's delicious. So we've been driving along the north coast of Northern Ireland today. Just down the road is actually the Giant's Causeway, which is obviously hugely geologically significant. There were big crowds there as we drove past, but we carried on going for about 5 minutes and we stumbled across the Dunsverrick Falls. With these beautiful falls, the crashing waves and the seabirds, and not another person in sight, there's something quite special about this place for me. This morning I'm heading south to County Tyrone. I follow photographer Gareth Ray on Instagram, and he takes some stunning photos down in the area. So I've asked him to meet me today and show me some picturesque spots. So I've got to admit, I'm a bit of a photography novice, as you can see from my fairly basic camera. Do you think that you'll be able to help me to take a great photograph?
No problem, yep.
So we've just walked down a grassy verge. How do you find these idyllic spots to photograph?
A lot of the times Google would be my friend, and then local knowledge. If I'm on a location, I tend to ask a few locals or anything if interest nearby.
So why do you think the Irish landscape is so photogenic?
The Irish landscape is so variable. A lot of people around the world, Ireland's 40 shades of green, and that's pretty much it. But we have structures, old ruins, we have very mountainous areas. We've even got large sand dunes across areas such as Donegal, some of the highest in Europe actually. Pretty much anything found elsewhere along the world can be found here in Ireland, I believe.
Gareth suggested Lower Lough, Erne, so that's where I'm heading off to next. We've just arrived at Lough, Erne, and we're staying at a place called Lusty Beg. I'm getting the ferry over to this 75-acre private island, where I'll be sleeping in a wooden cabin this evening. They have a variety of activities available here, and I've opted for the rib run so I can get a good view of the island. So I'm now back on dry land and I've lit the fire, I've got a hot drink, I'm finally dry. This is the perfect way to finish my trip in Northern Ireland. It's been amazing being led around by locals. I only wished I had more time here.